We've talked about soybean weed management in general, but we have different technologies in our soybeans. Herbicide resistant soybeans, herbicide tolerant. You can have what's called conventional, which is the standard soybeans that you cannot spray Roundup over the top, you cannot spray Liberty, you cannot spray the non-selectives over the top without killing the soybeans. But we have some different technologies, and to be honest with you, I'd say, this is a rough guess, but a large percentage, greater than 95% of all the soybeans in the state of Louisiana are some way herbicide tolerant. Very few growers grow conventional, and generally that grower will tell you, I'm growing conventional soybeans, I need help, really. So you don't want to assume anything, but if there's anything you can assume, there is some sort of herbicide technology in that plant. You just need to ask which one. First one is probably the most dominant. It's called Roundup Ready soybean. It is tolerant to glyphosate applications, and glyphosate's the Roundup, Touchdown Total, Cornerstone Plus, numerous trade names we discussed earlier. You can apply it over the top of those soybeans from emergence to R2. Now R2 is full flowering of the soybean, so every node on that plant has a flower. It is strong on most grasses and broadleaf weeds except morning glories, prickly cider, hemp sesbania, dayflower, and a few others. Now, do you know what the major weed of Louisiana soybeans is? It is still morning glories. It is still the predominant pest. If you ask a grower day in and day out, if you say pick one that you have trouble with consistently every year in most of your fields, they're going to tell you morning glories. Well, Roundup is a weakness. Now, that doesn't mean it won't kill it. It will control it, but it requires multiple applications of it. So that's where you need to pick a residual herbicide that matches the strength. So in this instance, for growers growing Roundup Ready soybeans and they have a morning glory issue in that field, you would be able to help them choose a pre-emerge herbicide from a residual standpoint and then an early post-residual to add to their Roundup that they could apply to give them morning glory control. So you can see how it depends on the weed spectrum as what you choose. The second herbicide technology that is available here in the state of Louisiana currently is Liberty Link soybeans. It is tolerant to the herbicide glufosinate, which is the common name. The trade name is Liberty. It is still under patent, so you won't see multiple glufosinates out there that are available at this moment. You can apply it over the top of the soybeans from emergence to R1. So now when you see one flower on that soybeans, that's the label limit that you can apply it. It is strong on some grasses, but most broadleafs. What it's weak on, pigweeds, also known as careless weeds. There's numerous pigweeds that are out there that are infesting this state. If they're greater than 3 inches tall, Liberty is not going to do a good job at controlling them. And then mostly grass species, goosegrass, brown top millet, and a few others. Now Liberty is exceptional in the morning glory. So if you have a morning glory pigweed mix, you need to make a choice with some grasses. In this instance, choose a residual herbicide that is better on pigweeds and grasses to control it, because you know you're going to catch your broadleafs with your Liberty, because Liberty does such a good job on broadleaf weeds. So you can actually pick help the grower pick their herbicide tolerance technology on a field-by-field basis based off their weed spectrum. All comes back to knowing what the weed spectrum is in the field. Third one is called sulfonylurea urea tolerant soybeans. You'll hear it as STS soybeans. It has increased tolerance to sulfonylurea urea herbicides, which is a mode of action. You also have STS and Roundup Ready soybeans, which is also resistant to Roundup as well as glyphosate. This allows increased use of herbicides, chlorimiron, and it's sold as Classic, and Canopy X has chlorimiron. It also allows use of some other herbicides that would typically kill regular Roundup Ready or Liberty Link or conventional soybean. Generally, growers utilize this is if they're planting double crop wheat, or soybeans following wheat, double crop soybeans. Well, they'll use a herbicide called Finesse, pre-emerge on their wheat, and that requires, due to the rotational restriction of the herbicide, to plant STS soybeans. Or growers will use this where they have a great deal of grass or sedges. If they have a lot of nut sedge and weed and other general sedges, kalingas, that we utilize an STS soybean because they have the tools in STS soybeans to provide better control of these particular weeds. So once again, it always goes back to what the weed spectrum is in the field. You have help to advise a producer from us. Now I know I've told you a whole bunch. I've talked about herbicides, I've talked herbicide application timings, and depends on the weed spectrum, and I pointed out pictures of weeds and everything. That's what we're here for. This, whether myself or the other LSU Action or weed scientists, we're here to help you, whether it's identify a weed or whether it's choose a herbicide to come and visit with you to help this. That's the whole point, is for us is that we have that communication, because you guys are the ones that are out there seeing what's going on a day-to-day basis to let us know what is happening in the field. So we're there to help each other. Here's ways. Now that's a lot on the screen, but what I did in the top right, you can see it's a title page to our Louisiana Suggested Chemical Weed Guide. And I pulled out, that's a little chart that shows weeds across the top with herbicides on the left side with a number. 1 means zero control, 9 means complete control. So that's a bunch of 1s and 9s and numbers all in between. That's what you would utilize to help make your decision. As you're helping that grower, you have this book, you have us at a phone call as well. So we do have the information there, so you don't have to memorize all this stuff, but it shows you that the tools are available for you.